one of presumably later dialogues of Plato, written around 369 before Christ. The main acting characters are Euclid and Terpsion, completely useless characters who praise how Socrates was smart for predicting how glorious Theaetetus would be. He just returned from war and is dying from dysentery. Then they decide to read the dialogue between Socrates and Theaetetus, which took place many years ago. Theodorus, mathematician, friend of Socrates, teacher of Theaetetus, whom he introduces to Socrates. Theaetetus, aka Mr. Yes, young promising man who talks to Socrates. Also, he proved existence of 5 perfect polyhedrons and a rationale of square root of 2. Socrates, annoying guy who asks people about stuff nobody is interested in. Finally, in the end of the book, he goes to the court when he is sentenced to death. Don't pretend, everybody was waiting for this. Socrates spends quite some time explaining that he is a midwife, just like his mother, but he delivers not children, but ideas. Okay, call yourself whatever you want, I don't care. Then finally, Theaetetus suggests his first definition of knowledge. Knowledge is perception. Actually, it is an opinion of Protagoras, who was a friend of Theodorus and famous for his doctrine, man is the measure of all things. The reason for this position is quite simple. What is cold for one man can be hot for another. The opposite argument is even simpler. Can a mad or sick man be measure of all things? Does our perception in dreams represent knowledge? Are you even sure that you're not asleep right now? Look at the Theodorus, for example. He definitely perceives something, but is his perception the same as ours? Doubt. Wake up, Theodorus. We have an idea to war. And then Socrates spends quite a while talking about how philosophers are clumsy and useless in case of everyday routine, and only when it comes to questions like what is justice or what is knowledge they shine. Yeah, cool.
And they keep beating the perception definition. They say that musician knows more about harmony than a gymnastic teacher does. And if we accept Heraclitus' proposition about flux, that everything is in motion and nothing is solid, then our knowledge, also known as perception, becomes outdated the very second we got it. The opposite doctrine is that everything is constant and nothing is changed. Socrates doesn't want to touch it, because he's too scared of his creator, Parmenides. 2/3 of the book passed, and only now they declare the perception definition stillborn. And Theaetetus comes up with his next thesis.
Cool rhyme, bro.
Thanks. The knowledge is a true opinion. The argument against that is quite long and pretty hard to get. But the main point is, often judges in persuasion of lawyers gain right opinion, but they don't actually know how the things were. Then Theaetetus comes with a third and the last definition. The knowledge is a true opinion with the reason, or better known as justified true belief. So, what is reasoning? Socrates gives us 3 definitions, rejecting each and every one of them in the end. The first one says that reasoning is making one's thoughts apparent by means of words and verbal expressions. Yet, this is weak, as any speaking person will be able to make reasoning in this way. The second one tells that reasoning is going through complex objects element by element, like explaining a wagon, enumerating its components. But this kind of explanation is not applicable when the order of the elements matters. For example, syllables in the name. Nias is not the same as Yasni. And finally, reasoning is an ability to find distinctive feature of a questioned object. However, this definition falls into a loop, as by getting to know the difference between two objects, you have to acquire knowledge about them. And that's all, folks. They rejected every definition of knowledge they had found, and Socrates went to porch of King Archon to face his trial.
Even though all definitions of knowledge were rejected, For many centuries after, true justified belief was the most common definition of knowledge, and even now some people use it. Theotetus, my boy, do you have any clear opinion on what is the difference between risotto and kasha?
I do not have any idea, Socrates.
Then let's find out. As you may know, risotto mainly consists of rice,
Yes,
as well as kasha primarily consists of rice.
very true, Socrates.
Thus, Theotetus, can we conclude that both risotto and kasha are the same?
Indeed, Socrates, risotto is kasha.